Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to another segment of Complete Wellness with Cindy, the Busy Woman's Cheerleader. This is the channel where women from all walks of life can stop by, get tools and resources to help them thrive 360 in mind, body, spirit, and finances. I invite you to stay connected, subscribe to this channel, and visit me online at thecindyrand.com. Now for today's segment. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Complete Wellness with Cindy, the Busy Woman's Cheerleader. I am so super excited, as usual, to be here and to be able to bring you our special guest. But first, let's do some housekeeping.
Entrepreneurs don't just need annual tax pros. They need an accounting partner that understands the nuances of their industry all year long. Envision Tax and Accounting Services supports you and your business with full-service accounting, bookkeeping, payroll, tax services, and expert business consultation, delivered by a team with over 3 decades of experience. Innovative entrepreneurs trust Envision Tax and Accounting Services to create smart systems, leverage the right technology, and build financial processes that support long-term growth and profit. Whether you're just starting out or an established company or a nonprofit, we meet you where you are. Customizing virtual or traditional accounting solutions that fit your workflow, budget, and goals. Got questions? We've got answers. Contact Envision Tax and Accounting Services today to schedule your free consultation. Visit us at www.etaaservices.com or by calling 407-951-1492 and let us help you enjoy your envisioned business. That's www.envisiontaxandaccounting.com or 407-951-1492.
Today's quote is, "Keep your face always towards the sunshine, and the shadows will fall behind you." And that comes from Walt Whitman. Woo! All right. So today I have with me the beautiful Dr. Holly Porter, who is a transformational leader, 17-time best-selling author, and creator of 11 startup companies. She's also the CEO of a retreat concierge platform. Help me welcome her. Hi, Holly.
Hi, thanks for having me, Cindy. Happy to be here.
Good, 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 good. So tell us about your journey.
Whoa. Well, you don't have that long, right? We live some years, we get some stories, we get
There
lots
you
of stuff.
go.
I got a
There you
story for
go.
everything, but
There you go.
um, I am an entrepreneur through and through. Both of my parents were entrepreneurs, and I've had now 12 startup companies. And I love meeting people and networking, and it's just they light me up. We raised all our children, 8 of them, and now we have 19 grandkids. So of course that keeps us busy as well. I'm from a big family, but I like to keep busy, and I love learning new things. I love early adapting and innovation, and just that kind of stuff just brings me lots of happy. And if I'm not happy, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, that is it. So the primary thing that really attracted us to you was your take on alignment, the alignment advantage, prosperity through presence, focus, practical ways to stay grounded and aligned while scaling impact. Tell us about that. Help us. Help us.
Yeah. Well, and I almost want to say it all kind of goes back to my shift. Just a little back history. I was in the hospital with COVID for 70 days and was intubated twice, had a trachea, sepsis, all kinds of things that would have taken me out. And it was about 4 years ago, and I had a near-death experience. And with that, it shifted everything. I mean, everything about what I'm doing, what I was told to do, what I was
Right,
sent
right.
back to do. And so yeah, the alignment changed. Like I feel like my book's called Near Death Shift, and the shift is surrender, hope, intuition, faith, and transformation. And to me, when you have all those in alignment, life just becomes so much easier. I feel like we're the ones that make it hard. We always think, oh, you get in that victim mode. We all do. Just don't stay there, right? Just always figure out what it is that's going to fill your cup today to make you better than you were yesterday. My motto's better's better. When I was so sick with long COVID after, it was just every day was a trial, and it just every day, what can I do today that can get me better than I was yesterday. And I just still live by that.
So, what is the process for alignment? What is your definition with the process for aligning?
I think for me, alignment is the balance that you find within your life. And when you have so much, and especially women, we juggle so much. And we also can handle a lot more than men. No disrespect to any men, but my husband would be the first to admit it. Probably why we're still married. He just lets me do my thing. And I think when we get that balance and it just when things are out of balance, it's like I used to teach it as more of an infinity sign, and it would be closing the gap to prosperity is what I called it. Eight means to close the gap to prosperity. And it was like eight different subjects. And when one of those were out of balance, then the infinity sign would have a break in it. And if there's a break, it can't flow, right? Because that's what it is. It's infinity. And so for me, it's just applying all those steps. And so I took those as a miracle. I've had so many God gifts. That's my higher power, whatever anyone else's is.
No,
That's fine.
it's all God.
Good, good. Well, so I feel like I get these God gifts now more than ever. And I think the difference for me is I'm listening, I'm being more present. And those are all things that I write about in this book. It's a personal development book as well, because I'm always thinking like what's going to make things shift? What's going to turn that wheel? How do we get in alignment? How do we keep that car, whatever you're using to move forward, how do we keep it going and on all four wheels?
Now,
So
now
sweet.
you're talking. So this is the thing. When I asked about alignment, I was wondering where you were going with it. That's why I was listening with intent, because
Yeah.
there is no alignment without the author and finisher of your faith. There is
Yeah.
no alignment.
No.
A lot of times, people, even a lot of my clients, current and past, they're trying to find a way to scale and to grow and to move past this plateau that they've reached in their business. And
Yeah.
so, my thing is, first of all, everything is a mindset. It all starts in your mind. And
Yeah.
so, that's why even with our group with Thrive 360, mind, body, spirit, and finances, the primary thing we're working on is your mindset. And
Mm.
we work on that first before we start to
Yeah.
really peel back practical
Yeah.
strategies as to how to move you forward with real world experiences. That's the easy part. That's the easy part. But
So true.
if you don't have proper alignment with the individual who gave you the vision in the
Yeah.
first place, we're just spinning around in the mud, getting dirty,
Yeah.
wasting time. So
Yeah.
when I think of alignment, I'm thinking in terms of take your proposition back to the destiny driver and let the heavenly father give you further instructions. I'm a firm believer that when we don't get these ideas by eating our veggies or drinking a cup of
No.
milk. All good and perfect gifts come from above. But with that being
Mm.
said, it's almost like think about your pet, if you have a pet, or think about a pet in general. You
Yeah.
give him a bone and he runs off with it. He will
Yep.
probably not come back to you at all because he's in the corner eating what you gave him,
Or
eating
he's
off
hiding
of,
it.
or he's hiding it, hiding the gifts, or
Hmm.
eating off what you gave him the first time. And he
Yeah.
doesn't come back until
Yeah.
he's finished, or it may be days or weeks later. He'll come back, a stray dog, they'll come back because
Yep.
you fed them, but in between time, they didn't need you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I look at the same thing with the good Lord, our destiny driver, the one that gives us these million billion dollar ideas, or give us, something small that may be a side hustle that later turns into a complete enterprise.
Right. Right.
Go back to the original founder so
Yes.
that you can be aligned with the new blueprints.
Yes.
Sometimes people are marching off the first order and it has
Yeah.
expired. So
Yeah.
now you've reached a plateau, and I believe a lot of times it's divine that you reach a
Oh, absolutely.
plateau because you need to turn your face back to that
Yes.
wall and get in his face and find out, okay, this is what you gave me. This is what I'm doing. Is there something else, or what next? I've done all of this, the best that I could do with what I have. What's
Yes.
next? Somebody asked me the other day, what would be my top way for funding businesses for a new entrepreneur to fund business?
Yeah.
I said, I could give you a hard list. I can give you a hard list of funds, but it may work for you, it may not. Okay.
Right.
What worked for person A may not work for person B. Nonetheless, go back to the destiny driver,
Right.
because if he gave you that vision, there's provision for it. But how are you going to know if you don't ask for it?
Yeah,
You see what I mean?
absolutely.
So that
Well,
alignment is very important.
I love that. I have a quick story I'd like to share with that about that.
Awesome.
So one of the things I was told in my near death was to start a nonprofit called Adventure Bucket Wish. And I was told the name, but I wasn't given the mission. Well, I was so sick for so long after even. And I went with my marching orders, and within 3 months, I created the 501c3 nonprofit. Decided the mission was going to be for long COVID because it was something the whole world was suffering from. There was
Right.
100 million people. It was underserved, and I thought, oh, this is going to be the best. Well, about 2 years in, it wasn't the best. It was a challenge every day to find guests for the podcast. Like YouTube would suppress it because if they heard the word COVID, they would suppress it, and it was just this like fight all the time. And so I finally just took all my fundraisers off the going into the third year, and said I'm going to keep doing the podcast until I know. That was where I was just open for instruction, but I didn't feel right about raising money for that cause anymore. And one day I was doing my podcast, and all of a sudden she was a long COVID survivor with long COVID, and she was telling her story. And all of a sudden I started reliving mine. I couldn't breathe. I felt like I had an elephant on
Wow.
my chest.
Wow.
And I'm like, what is going on? I mean, it's also video. And all of a sudden I get this huge download that says, this is not your mission anymore, and this is your last podcast. And it was just like, I was so excited, actually. I canceled everything that day because I was waiting for it. And I was open for just like being there and being at peace with whatever the answer was. But then I went into this depression after, because it was like, why would God tell me in my near death to start this nonprofit and then take it away? And a very wise person on my board, she's very holistic, gal, and she said, if I remember right, you were given the mission, but not the cause.
Yeah.
I mean, you were given the name, but not the mission and the cause. And she said, so keep the name, let's change the mission. And that's what we did. And it was an easy solution after that. So, anyway,
Yeah. No, it's very important. I thank you for that. It's very important to continuously check in. That's why I always push relationship.
yes.
As with anything, you don't want it to be like that little dog, you come back when you need something,
No,
or that friend that only contacts you can find your phone number when they need something.
be a
You know,
regular,
be a regular,
frequent flyer.
because it's beneficial. It is
Absolutely.
beneficial. There are so many nuggets and downloads and expertise and strategies that comes from that relationship, because
Yeah.
it's a dialogue. Just like right now, you and I having a dialogue. It's not like a one-way conversation. It's like, okay, she's talking, I'm
Somebody
listening.
will always be able to teach you something.
Yeah, there you go.
Whether
There
you
you
need
go.
to learn it or not, you're always going to have a lesson with,
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why we call it growing.
yes.
If you're not growing, you're dying. You're
Yeah.
dying a slow, grueling death. You are
You're
dying.
speaking my language. Yep.
There you go. There you go. So you have to always be open to learning. And you have to, first of all, be open to that instruction from our destiny driver,
Yeah.
because that's where all of these things flow from. Like I said, if we can read a book, you can read behind somebody and get their strategies. It may not work for you. You can
Yeah.
go and I can tell you till I'm purple in the face what worked for me and countless,
Right.
clients I've had over the years. It may not work for you, because I am a
Mhm.
firm believer that
Yep.
everybody has a predestined journey to take, whether
Yeah.
they choose to believe it or not. Sometimes it's
Yes.
like, why is all of this happening to me? Why? You haven't checked in with the destiny driver.
Right.
You'll
Well, everybody's
understand your
looking for
journey a
the
little
easy.
more if you check in with the destiny driver.
Yeah. Yeah. We just all want it. It seems like we all just want the easy way. And sometimes
Absolutely.
the easy way is not always the way, because
No.
you look back, I had 2 years, I call it my 2 years of hell after I had this experience. And it was like every bad day I'd ever had in my life, if you take that and times it by 100, that was the weight and the heaviness I felt every day pushing through what I was going through. And
Right.
I know now looking back, those were, I mean, I prayed every day I would have died. I was like, why did you save me to put me through this? Like, this is not how it's supposed to be. And now I look back and go, wow. with those lessons that I got out of that, I know that's for the philanthropy work I'm doing in the future, which is the big plan. I feel like God handed me a Bible. I call it my life Bible, and it had the end of the story in it. It was like all I had to do was go and fill in the pages, which isn't always so easy.
No.
But it's like, wow, who gets that? Who gets to know this is what it's supposed to be? And it's exciting. And I every day I'm grateful that I had to go through those trials. I don't want to go through them again, but
Oh,
grateful
absolutely not. But there's always a lesson from it.
always.
I say all the time because I took that on even for myself. If I go through something, negative or something that I'm not happy about, what was the lesson that I
Yeah.
learned from it? What was the
And
lesson?
my thing, okay, I will say I didn't at the time, I was really sick still too. In my
Yeah,
defense.
the residue. Yeah.
I think now the best message I could give somebody is when you're going through a hard time, that's the $1 million question. What do I need to do, or who do I need to serve, or what do I need to learn to get through this faster?
And so that's why you survived it. You said you asked him why did he let you live so that
Yeah.
you can say just that. Because you can't take somebody along a journey and tell them how to get to the finish line if you've never
No,
walked it yourself. Just
no.
like I was telling you earlier, you can't um, pour on an empty tank. So when
Yeah.
you're depleted and you're normally pouring, but when you're depleted, you can't pour. You've got to stop at some point, just like with your car, and fill it up. You've got to stop and fill up, whatever that looks like for individuals. Me
Yeah.
personally, I like to spend time in his presence, in his space, and there's a level of peace for me. I
Yeah.
always say to each his own, but I can't. Um, there are not enough minutes in the day to describe the war wounds on my back that he's healed me
Mhm.
from. The traumas that I from just lifing that
Yeah.
you suppressed, or my word was always, I block it out. I can't afford to have a big breakdown. I have a mini breakdown because I got to keep it moving. You know,
Same.
I've got to keep it moving. I can't sit here and just completely bask in my tears. I can cry a little
Yeah.
bit, but I've got to keep it moving. I've got to
Yeah.
keep it moving. So that time refueling, that
Yeah.
time getting poured back into, that's sacred for me because I can't pour from an empty tank. So when my
Yeah.
reserve has been depleted as well, I go back to that rock that is higher than
Mhm.
I to fill me back up. And then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, let's roll my sleeves up. Okay, I can take another round. So
Yeah.
with that being said, tell us about your retreat concierge service.
Yeah. So that was one of the companies that I was given some direction on in my near death. I had pitched a company that I wanted to partner with, and they had a billionaire backer. Well, that made me super excited because it was a software like a picture of Airbnb, but for retreats. So a booking and a hosting site for the retreat industry.
Awesome.
So needed, still so needed. It's not finished yet. It's actually been kind of sunset right now. But I was told in my near death not to partner with them, and that wasn't the highest and best thing for the company. It needed to be mine, and don't do it. So that was kind of devastating, I have to admit. So I went and incorporated it by myself and things, and went down this long journey road. I'd never had a software company. It was exciting, definitely shiny object to me, and I love those. And they don't always serve us well. And so I realized, it was going to take a lot more money than what we had after I put in a lot of money into it. So I set it aside, and the concierge service was another piece of it. When I did, like when you take a business and you do like that big of a concept and do it as a mind map, when I mapped it out one day, it had 26 income streams to one company, just had all these different arms. And there's so many things in that ecosystem of retreats. There can be a travel magazine and a travel agency and the concierge service. And that was one of them that we did. So people who are already usually doing retreats, or corporate companies that want to hire somebody that wants to do all the logistics. So they just show up and they teach in their genius, and they come and all the stuff back end is done for them. We can come be boots on the ground if they need extra hands running things. And it's just, I've done events for years. I mean, it started when I was 12 working with my mom on weddings, and we
Yeah,
catered, and
yeah.
it just, I love the collaboration and bringing community together and working through things and then the learning part. And with retreats, you get that transformation in there and just watching people walk in the door and as little as 2 to 3 days later, they're walking out with a different light and a glow about them
Absolutely.
and a change. I
Absolutely.
love.
Absolutely. We do the Well Woman's Retreat, so I'm very, very familiar, very familiar. But when you mention about the actual portal, uh, a one-stop shop,
Yeah. Well, okay, so
one-stop
then
shop.
let me say real quick, because this is all just changing right now. It's crazy how God works. So
Yeah.
while I was finishing my book last fall, it launched on 11/11, which was very significant to my story. And while I was doing it, I was just in this really spiritual place and got another business idea. And I was like, oh gosh, really? Like, I don't need one more company. We've always had three or four at a time, but it was retreat related. So I'm like, I'm listening, but I'm kind of like, I'm busy here writing my book, but okay, I'm listening. Well, we just incorporated it in December. It's called International Retreat Association. So out of 2 to 3 million retreat leaders estimated in the world, there's not an association for them to belong to. Like this core of professional standards and levels of values. And so we're creating it. And I'm like so excited about it because it goes in hand with what I was already doing. But it's also a whole new company to build. So it's been fun.
What are the layers of, I would say, Holly? What are the layers of Holly that allows her to thrive beyond titles and the spin of entrepreneurship and aspiring things that you do? What are the layers? What allows you to thrive? What is your foundation? Tell the audience something. I would say your top three things that allow
Yeah.
you to thrive in chaos.
Well, getting clear and calm and sitting in a peaceful state for sure. Being present is a huge one. Um, I think for me, I never had a purpose. Like, really, people would tell me all the time. I paid tens and thousands of dollars for coaching to say, I can help you figure out this. Nobody can help you figure out your purpose but you. It's within you. They can coach you through it. They can give you ideas, but really it's up to you. And until I had this whole near-death experience, I mean, I believe God put me in a coma to get me to sit still because I wasn't listening. I wasn't being present. I prayed for peace. Boy, after those 2 years, like I felt like I never, until now, up until right now, this year, this last whole year, I have never really felt true peace in my life. And I think it's like figuring out what is it for you that's going to bring that feeling to you, to live in that state of being and that state of mind. And if it's meditation, if it's your prayers, whatever's going to move the needle for you. But presence was a big one because I just was on go, go, go all the time. And I feel like my purpose now, I know what it is. It's too bad I had to almost die to figure it out. But I tell people, others, you don't have to almost die to truly live. What is it going to be for you that's going to make you want to get up every day and be at a 10 out of 10?
Mhm, mhm.
Dial it up.
Yeah.
Like what if you're a 3 today, what's it going to take to get you to a 10? I do hypnosis and I use literally like a stove dial in there when we're turning up the energy and the emotion of something. I literally have them take their hand and turn that dial at what'll get it to a 10. And it's so powerful because we have that power within us.
Yeah, it is there. That's why a lot of times, even with uh, the Busy Woman's Cheerleader and the Busy Woman's Network, it has to be clarified to people. Busy isn't just being busy just to say you're busy. You
Yeah.
know, there's and that's, I would say, like a cliche for some
Yeah.
because, so I'm busy, but are you productive? You know,
Yes. Yes.
are
Are
you
you
you're
getting
multitasking,
100%?
but what are you finishing
Right.
out of the 10 things on your list? Which things did you start or prioritize and finish? That's why even
Mm.
with the array of things that you involve yourself in, it's like,
Yeah.
how do you thrive through chaotic
Yeah.
situations? Because that's a question a lot of times people can't answer. They've got a lot
Yeah.
going on to say that they're busy, but then you're
Right.
complaining because your income isn't correct or you're stressed or you have no
Yeah.
peace. That's not what being busy is. First of all, it goes back to like scripture. We must be busy about our Father's business. It goes
Yeah.
back to the fact of you talking to him to get instructions and guidance and wisdom and direction, but then having a dialogue, listening. So yeah, you're praying, but at the same time, meditate,
Yes.
get quiet, listen. Some
Yeah.
people have like music that they listen to. Some, they
Yeah.
journal, some read scriptures, some just sit in his presence with their mouth closed.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times he's trying to get us a message, but we're so busy on the wrong things
Yeah.
that sometimes, unfortunately, it takes a tragedy to slow us
Yes.
down so we can hear what he's been
Yes.
trying to tell us all along.
Yeah.
You see what
I
I'm saying?
still get relapses, I call them relapses, flares, whatever, with my health.
Mhm.
All my long COVID symptoms will come back. And when that starts happening, like it's weeks, sometimes six to 10 weeks, it usually throws me out. And I'm working through it, I'm pushing through it, I'm traveling through it, but I feel like crap the whole time. And last year I finally sat back and said, wait a minute, if my lesson was to listen while I was in a coma to my guidance and the next steps, maybe this relapse, maybe I'm a little off track right now. And so it was like I shifted the thinking around that and thought, okay, next time I start to get that feeling and that health issues start coming up, I'm gonna
No,
move a lot slower and I'm gonna be a lot more
no,
present.
no,
Wait for the
no.
next
Don't
step.
don't wait for tragedy.
Yeah,
Just make it a lifestyle
yeah,
at your pace. Make it a lifestyle to daily. And then next thing you know is throughout the day, more times of the day, and you're
yeah.
talking like you've got a person sitting right beside you, which you do,
You do.
just a spiritual being. But my point is, don't wait till tragedy sets in before you continue to build that relationship so that you
Hmm.
don't have to keep being jerked into submission to listen. It
Yeah,
becomes a lifestyle. You understand what I mean?
yeah,
And none
yeah,
of us are perfect. We're all works in progress. Oh my God. Like if everything that I ever wanted or desired would just like manifest, as some would say, or be tangible, as some would say, right at this very moment, I would still not say that I've arrived because I'm a lifetime learner. I
yeah,
try to remain teachable. And so there's
yes,
always something new. Look at the world that we're in. There's always
yeah,
something new for us to glean from or to learn. And listen
right,
to you with these portals, software as a service, and that all these different concierge platforms. You have to learn those platforms before you can use them or sell them. So that's
right.
work all in itself. But a very dear person to me said a while back, which it stuck with me. You don't want to be climbing up a ladder only to find that you're up against the wrong building.
Mm.
You see?
'Cause it's a
So
lot of
that's why
work that you have to
that's a lot
redo.
of work. And so that's why it's very important in
Yeah,
all of our busyness to be busy constructively and with instructions so that
yeah,
we're not wasting valuable time. As we begin to calculate these numbers, it's like, look, even if I had time to waste, I don't want to waste time. I don't
no,
want to climb up the wrong ladder for years to realize I'm up against the wrong building. I could have been against this little short little 3-story building instead of this
maybe.
15-story building. I could have gotten to my destination much quicker. You understand what I
Yeah,
mean? A
yeah,
lot quicker. So that instruction, that alignment, aligning yourself with the original plan,
yeah,
you will find that that original plan makes more sense than, and then you'll find that all of those pieces, we got little dewdrops of processes, dewdrops of, systems of visions. But
yeah.
with that alignment, what does that do? That brings all of those pieces together. It
It
brings them
does.
all together.
Well, and sometimes I remember one time doing a visual experiment, not experiment, but a visualization thing, and I came to a road that had a brick wall across it, and I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't go. It was like there was no way to go under it. There was no way to go over it. And it was interesting because it ended up being something I created as a block wall. And in the end, it ended up being like a fake block wall like curtain. And it just all of a sudden dropped. And it was like, I put that barrier for myself, and I think we do that. We put those blocks for us, and sometimes the way's there, and we pick the hardest road. It's like figure out what's going to make it feel good. It doesn't always have to be easy. I think we learn from, those challenges and those different forks in the road that we have to take, but learn early to pivot and take a new direction. And it's okay to mess up. I mean, mistakes are what make us who we are. That resilience makes us the people that they others love.
So let me ask you this. What would you tell your 20-year-old self at this point in life?
This point, gosh, I know I always think I never want to go back. I only want to go forward. I would have done things differently, yes, but I don't want to go back. Um, hang on. And it's going to be the ride of your life, and at times it'll be the fight of your life, but in the end, it'll be worth it. And stay true to yourself, stay true to God, and just be an example to other people that they want to learn from you. I feel like if you set the example, other people will be able to follow, and in the end, you have a legacy that you're proud of.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. I've enjoyed our conversation. How
Thank
can people
you.
get in contact with you? Where are your books? Where are they?
The easiest way is if you have show notes, I'll give you one link, and it's a
Okay.
link tree, but it'll take you to all my social media, my website, my nonprofit page,
I'll definitely put
everything
that in
you
the
need, the
comments.
books. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Wonderful.
make it easy.
Wonderful. All
Thank
right.
you.
So this has been fun. We'll have to do it again. But in the meantime, have a good one. Thanks.
Thanks.
Are you looking for a savvy speaker to add value to your upcoming event? Cindy, the Busy Woman's Cheerleader, empowers groups across the globe to thrive 360 on purpose in mind, body, spirit, and finances. As a dynamic speaker known for delivering insight in a relatable tone, Cindy brings real-world experience, practical strategies, and an energy that keeps audiences engaged from the very first minute. She's a thought leader, serial entrepreneur, author, leadership coach, humanitarian, and purpose pusher that produces impactful dialogues. Her style blends clear expertise with authentic storytelling and humorous candor, making even complex ideas attainable and actionable for every audience, be it faith-based, co-ed, or secular. Whether your goal is to empower, educate, or spark positive change, Cindy creates an inclusive environment where people feel seen, motivated, and ready to act. She's now accepting new speaking engagements. Book the Busy Woman's Cheerleader today. Submit your request by email to thrive@thecindyrand.com or online through www.thecindyrand.com. Make your event most memorable, and remember, together, we can thrive 360 on purpose.
Thank you again for tuning in to Complete Wellness with Cindy, the Busy Woman's Cheerleader. Follow me on social media at Busy Woman's Cheerleader. Remember, together we write our stories, share our journeys, create memories, and leave our marks in history. Until next time, peace, blessings, and joy be multiplied to you. Ta-ta.